Israel's war cabinet has met for a second time in less than 24 hours to discuss how to respond to Iran's unprecedented drone and missile attack. The government has not made public whether a decision had been reached during the late-night meeting, but reiterated that there will be a response. Meanwhile, the White House has described Iran's attack on Israel over the weekend as a spectacular and embarrassing failure. Nearly all of the more than 300 missiles and drones were shot down. Earlier, Saeed Shahata from BBC Arabic explained what we've learnt about Israel's next moves.
There is no decision was announced yet, but the agreement within the cabinet is about a response. The military chief of staff, Mr. Herzi Halevi, said the Iranian attack will be met with a response, but discussing the scale and timing of the response, because this will affect if it will be escalation or how the Iranian respond, because Iranians said what Israeli done to strike the Iranian consulate in Damascus was a strategic mistake, and what the Iranian done was like self-defense. So in this case, that's it. But Israeli think it's damaging its reputation as superior power in the Middle East. So to be attacked on its soil by all of that, even the damage was minimal. Inside Israel, it looks like a damage for its reputation as a superpower. So there is pressure on the cabinet and on the Mr. Netanyahu to make a response. However, there is pressure also from United States and other like United Kingdom, and Mr. Cameron, the foreign secretary, the British foreign ministry secretary, said Israel should be smart. It was a failure. So they try to minimize the effect of the Iranian strike because the damage was minimal. No. So the Israeli between two pressures, one from inside and one from outside, respond or not. And this like situation will be escalating if there is a response according to America and other allies to Israel.
That was BBC Arabic's Saeed Shahata. Well, let's speak to our Middle East correspondent who is in Jerusalem, Yolande Nell. Yolande, it's good to have you. Now, what more are we hearing from Israeli officials?
I mean, we're not hearing anything much on the record, but a very clear message is being sent in general that they will retaliate for the unprecedented Iranian attack in the early hours of Sunday morning. We had the Israeli military's chief of staff going to the Nevatim air base. It was one of the few sites that was actually hit by ballistic missiles in that attack. It suffered minor damage, and he was addressing the Air Force pilots there and saying to them that really that attack, the use of so many missiles and drones could not go unmet. And he was also complimenting them on their capabilities and their preparations should their services be required as part of that retaliation. Of course, there are other means at Israel's disposal. They could go for something sort of more in terms of asymmetric warfare, the likes of the Stuxnet computer worm that we saw in the past that was used to effectively disable key parts of Iran's nuclear program. This has been a shadow war that's gone on for so many years between Israel and Iran. But now what's happened in recent days has really pushed things into the open. It's of course causing so much concern for world leaders. They are trying to persuade Israel to exercise restraint. And the real dilemma of Israel's war cabinet is how to send a powerful message to Iran, but at the same time not escalate things in the region in an extremely dangerous way.
Now, Iran has been claiming that it gave advanced warning about this attack. But as far as Israel is concerned, how much of a blow is this? How serious an attack or line do they feel has been crossed?
I mean, certainly they say that Iran has broken all red lines. This was the first time that Iran had launched a direct attack on Israel from its own territory. But at the same time, there is a real effort by world leaders and, of course, here in Israel, too, to really look at this as having been a success because the attack was thwarted. 99% of the missiles and drones that were launched were brought down, and there was an alliance of Israel and the US, the UK, even Jordan in the region, and others, including the French, that really helped here. And that showed, Israeli leaders have been pointing out that there is a strategic alliance, there can be regional cooperation to counter the threat from Iran. Iran has been putting out signals. We saw it again overnight when the Iranian foreign minister and the Chinese foreign minister spoke, that Iran itself does not want an escalation. It considers now that it has retaliated for its 1st of April, the 1st of April attack that it suffered in Damascus, when there was an airstrike that killed 7 members of the Revolutionary Guards at the Iranian consulate building in Syria. And the Iranians have been trying to say that what happened was their limited response for that deadly attack.
Right, it really paints how volatile the situation is in the Middle East right now. Yolande Knell, thank you so much for that update.